It's 8 p.m. in Banjul, and from our studios on MDI Road, this is the news. First, the headlines. Members of Guinea-Bissau's National Farmer Association seek to establish a close partnership with the Gambia. Child Protection Alliance embarks on an ambitious drive to build a critical mass of community representatives and ward councillors armed with skills to track budgets. Police in Pakistan break up what they are calling a child sexual abuse ring involving a staggering 270 minors. And debt-saddled Greece says it has been overwhelmed by the thousands of migrants landing on its shores. These and other stories coming ahead in the next half hour. I am ISATOU DABO. We thank you for joining us. Senegalese President Macky Sall has sent a message of gratitude to the President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa, and the text reads: The President of the Republic of Senegal, His Excellency Macky Sall, welcomes the decision taken on Friday, 24 July 2015 by Your Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa, President of the Republic of the Gambia, to pardon 26 Senegalese nationals who were imprisoned in the Gambia. The President of the Republic has just been informed of the decision of President Jammeh to set some prisoners free on the 30th July, which includes, among others, Mr. Seydou Niang, a Senegalese sentenced to death in the Gambia. His Excellency Mr. Macky Sall renews to his brother and friend, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa, his sincere thanks and reiterates his commitment and constant willingness to strengthen and expand the fraternal ties of friendship and cooperation that so happily exist between Senegal and the Gambia. The text ends. Mayan Mohammed Nawaz Sharif, Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, has also sent a message to Professor Jammeh, and it reads: Your Excellency, it gives me great pleasure to convey to you and our brethren in the Gambia, on my own behalf as well as on behalf of the people and government of Pakistan, our warmest felicitations on the commencement of the holy month of Ramadan. I would like to take this opportunity to convey my most earnest wishes for the progress, protection and happiness of the brotherly people of the Gambia. May Allah Almighty answer all our prayers, and for this blessed month to become the harbinger of eternal peace, prosperity, joy and blessing for the entire Muslim Ummah. May Allah Almighty grant you a long and healthy life, and may He always bless your family. Please accept, Your Excellency, the assurances of my highest consideration. It concludes. Still on those messages from world leaders addressed to President Jammeh, this one from the President of the State of Palestine and President of the Executive Committee of the Palestine Liberation Organization, Mahmoud Abbas, states, on the joyous occasion of the feast of Eid al-Fitr, we have the pleasure to express to Your Excellency, on behalf of the people and State of Palestine, and on my behalf, heartiest congratulations and fraternal best wishes. We pray to Allah Almighty to enable Your Excellency to celebrate many more in good health and happiness, as well as progress and development for the government and brotherly people of the Gambia. May the Almighty shower His blessings on all the people of the Islamic Ummah. The text ends. The President of the Union of Comoros has also felicitated the Gambian leader, and his message reads: Your Excellency, the celebration of Eid al-Fitr gives me great pleasure to extend my warmest congratulations and sincere best wishes of good health and prosperity to Your Excellency and the brotherly people of the Gambia. May Allah the Almighty accept our fasting and prayers and reward us in our drive to maintain peace and stability in our countries. Please accept, Your Excellency and their brother, the assurances of my highest consideration and fraternal esteem. It concludes. Mr. Iyad Amin Madini, Secretary General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, writes: Mr. President, I have the honor to extend to Your Excellency, on my own behalf and that of staff of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and its institutions, our sincere wishes and heartfelt congratulations on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr al-Mubarak. We pray that the Almighty Allah continues to shower you with abundance of progress, prosperity, and for the Republic of the Gambia and for the peace, security, and well-being of the Muslim Ummah. Please accept, Your Excellency, my highest consideration. The message ends. Government on Tuesday dispatched a high-powered delegation led by the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs to the residence of veteran broadcaster and legendary historian Alhaji Mansour Njai to sympathize with the bereaved family. The late Alhaji Mansour Njai died on Tuesday. GRTS's Famara Kanyi was there, and this is his report.
He was a journalist and a historian, working with the microphone for several decades, first at the national radio and later with both the radio and TV. He was a legend in both circles and was widely respected in the Gambia and Senegal. The hundreds, if not thousands, who have been visiting the bereaved family, among them senior government officials, Islamic scholars, and people from all walks of life to offer their condolences, attest to his greatness. President Jammeh dispatched the Vice President and Women's Affairs Minister, Dr. ISATOU Njai to the bereaved family. She paid glowing tribute to the late Alhaji Mansour Njai. The Imam Ratib of Banjul, Alhaji Cherno Aliou Maska, used the occasion to thank the President for his compassion and respect for Muslims. He praised Mansour Njai for his commitment to national duty, adding his sacrifices are yielding dividend. The family of the late Alhaji Mansour Njai thanked the Gambian leader for sharing their loss. The late Alhaji Mansour Njai was a huge resource to staff of Gambia radio and television services due to his sharp wit, in-depth knowledge of issues, history, and above all, patience. He was also a soldier to lean on during tough times and will certainly be missed by the numerous broadcasters and others who look to him for inspiration and moral support. For GRTS News, I am Famara Kanyi.
When the passing of the veteran broadcaster and renowned Gambian historian was announced, scores of sympathizers flocked to Alhaji Mansour Njai's Thompson residence to pay homage to the legend and sympathize with his family. Samuel Ba has more on what most of the mourners said about Njai's legacy.
Veteran broadcaster Alhaji Mansour Njai passed away early Tuesday morning at the age of 80 at his home in the capital city, Banjul. The widely admired radio and TV presenter was also known for his deep understanding of the Gambia's political and traditional records. As news of his passing away filtered through, scores of people expressed shock at the sudden death of Mr. Njai. Others, however, briefly touched on the immortal legacy he left behind, especially in the media fraternity where he helped shape many journalists.
We've lost a great friend. We've lost one of us in the Muslim Ummah in Banjul, and by extension in the Gambia. He was a great man who shared with us his belief, his religious ambition, and we are very grateful to Allah for what he has done today. We should take solace from Allah's wish what he has done, and I would say that Mansour was a splendid character, a wonderful Muslim who worked for the Ummah. Only last week, when we were at State House to share joy at the end of Ramadan in the Eid al-Fitr, he made a wonderful presentation tracing back the history of the Committee of Banjul Muslim Elders when it was formed in 1900. He reminded us of the functions and what has happened from 1900 today. HED President was very happy, and he showed his happiness by extending gifts to him.
Mr. Mboj further extended his heartfelt condolences to the deceased family, especially to his former workplace GRTS, saying the country has lost a soul hard to replace.
Mansour was a very wonderful man, full of history, wealth of knowledge. He knew the Gambia back and forth. His religion was the most uppermost in his mind. He was a responsible person, responsible in the broad sense of the word. He was magnanimous. He helped the poor. He did what was required of him as a Muslim. by extension to every person that he dealt with. In a nutshell, we say we have lost a wonderful partner, a true Muslim, a true son of the Gambia. He loved the country. What we would miss from Mansour is that he did not leave his knowledge behind.
Harping on the iconic resilience of the veteran, Alhaji Lamin Manga, the Director General of the state's broadcaster, said out of love for his country, Mansour Njai even continued to serve years after his retirement.
It is a great loss for GRTS particularly, but it's a great loss for the media fraternity. It's a great loss for the Gambia in many ways. This is a man that you could call him a well, where we all draw inspiration, intellect and talent from, and he's taught so many of us. We've picked up a lot from but just imagine a man that 20 years after retirement serving his country. It was only during the Korite peace that we last benefited from his contributions. So we want to extend our thanks to the audiences that have been following this man over the past 4 decades or so. If you listen to GRTS radio today, you would have heard the outpour and the well-wishers that have joined the family in these trying moments. So I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to everybody, particularly to His Excellency the President, who has also sent in a delegation to offer condolences. Barely a week ago, President Jammeh did in fact mention that he wanted to help Mr. Njai to support him with his eye difficulties, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But like they would say in Wolof, Enebi Agana, the intention was there, and we want to thank him for that, and thank the entire Gambian community for their support. Thank you.
Alhaji Sering Seka, Alhaji Bayaseni Seka Bilal, Alhaji Sering Maranjai, Alhaji Dauda Jany, Alhaji Dudu Mbub, the Imam Ratib of Banjul, all expressed similar sentiments about a man who has left a huge gap in the Gambian media. For few who had the opportunity to work with him, such as veteran broadcaster Suleiman Njai, described him as an unrivaled pioneer of broadcasting in the Gambia, who was always encouraging and supportive to young people. He has been a truly recognizable voice on both the radio and television, a man who saw the nascent stage of the old Radio Gambia and lived through to the age when the radio and TV became a unifying symbol of the country's development. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
Nearly 100 members of Guinea-Bissau's National Agriculture Association have been working on the land in Kanilai in a show of solidarity with President Jammeh's farming activities. As we hear in this report by Mamadou Diallo, the association is looking forward to building a close partnership with the Gambia.
The Association Nacional de Agricultores de Guinea-Bissau, ANAG, is an umbrella group that brings together farmers from across the 9 provinces of Guinea-Bissau. Nearly 100 members of the association, which was formed in 1992, are in Kanilai to show solidarity with the Gambian leaders' farming activities. Speaking to GRTS, the national president of ANAG, Zaivid Bolis Gomez, said the objective of their association is to bring together farmers to harmonize efforts to improve their lives. In order to achieve this goal, Gomez said they intend to explore opportunities to build solid and mutually beneficial partnerships with other established farmers from across the sub-region. After careful consideration, he added, they chose President Jammeh because of his distinguished track record in promoting and advancing agricultural production in the Gambia. Gomez said that President Jammeh has achieved remarkable progress in poverty reduction by revolutionizing agriculture, and as such, serves as a role model for African countries to emulate. With such a trip, ANAG hopes to seek the President's help to enable and replicate the Gambia's successes in Guinea-Bissau. Musa Doumbia, the consultant of ANAG, thanked the Gambian ambassador to Guinea-Bissau for facilitating their trip and expressed the hope that this maiden trip will build the foundation for a fruitful cooperation between them and the President. He described President Jammeh as a great revolutionary icon who is working tirelessly to actualize the ideals of Amilcar Cabral. Kumbambalo, a representative of the DABO region, said women play an important role in agriculture and household food security in Guinea-Bissau. She is optimistic that the President would look favorably on them and help them replicate the Gambia's successes in Guinea-Bissau. The veteran woman farmer hailed the enormous work currently ongoing in Kanilai, which she said serves as an example for the rest of Africa. The delegation arrived on Monday and intend to stay for a week to learn more about the President's farming activities and help in weeding of the groundnut farm. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS News.
Elsewhere in Batakunku, to be more precise, a 2,000-strong youth volunteer corps took on President Jammeh's farm on Wednesday to help ensure a bumper harvest. ISATOU was there and she now reports.
In their numbers, these youth from across the country thronged the President's Batakunku farm to clear some parts of the vast land, as others sow groundnut, coos, as well as plant fruit trees like coconut and oranges. Among the huge volunteer corps was Chief of Gombo South, Sheriff M. Jane, who did not only help supervise the farm work, but also expressed satisfaction with the level of commitment shown by the youths ahead of the Vision 2016 target. Several APRC bigwigs were also on the ground. Among them, Aidan Dur, Councillor for Sanyang, Bafode Toure, the National Women's Mobilizer, and Buba Toure, youth mobilizer at the Fajara Barracks, who all saluted the youth volunteers for their move. Youths such as Babukar Jallo from Banjulunding and Ensa Nying from the North Bank region also thanked the Gambian leader for providing them the conducive environment in making all this come true and pledged their support to the attainment of the Vision 2016. At a time when a lot of prominence is given to the agricultural sector by the Jammeh administration, the youths of the country appear knee-deep in the anti-hunger crusade. ISATOU Keta, GRTS.
Still on the all-important subject of agriculture, custodians of the farm cultivated by staff of the Office of the President and volunteers from Lamin and surrounding villages have been removing weed from the 6-acre field. Asian Silver reports.
They appeared enthused by the President's Back to the Land call to cultivate these 6 acres of farm with 3 different varieties of crop and cereals few weeks ago. Today, they are back on the ground to pick the weeds as the produce begin to grow satisfactorily. The morning activity involved custodians of the farm and scores of volunteers from Lamin and surrounding villages who descended on the farm to do what they do best.
This farm is very good. This is our first time President's office to produce a farm, responding the call of the President. Let us go back to the land.
Jaju, who is currently managing the farm, also considers this activity as their own contribution to the National Vision 2016 agenda. Volunteers, including Lisa Konate, Landing Kote, and others who came to the farm to give a helping hand, expressed solidarity with the President's worthwhile farming initiative while promising to respond anytime they may be needed. The recent past has witnessed a groundswell of public institutions venturing into farming as their own response to the President's hunger eradication agenda. Now, experts have envisaged that the proceeds from these farms can be used to complement their feeding expenditure.
Since the closing time has now changed to 6 o'clock, most departments are forced to provide food for their staff. And having farms like this will definitely complement those efforts. At least it will cut down the expenses they will incur in purchasing food.
The crops have given promising growth that instill hope to the custodians for a bumper harvest in the future. But experts have advised that constant weeding is required to prevent the proceeds from perishing. Achan Silva, GRTS News.
Community members, ward councillors and local state actors have been shaping their budget presentation and tracking skills under the auspices of Child Protection Alliance. The two-day interface, as we hear in this report by ISATOU, forms part of efforts expected to lead to better supervision and monitoring of budgets and increased budgetary allocation for social sectors.
Budget preparations and related issues was the cornerstone of deliberation as KMC and Brikama Area Council were engaged by Child Protection Alliance, an agency that seeks to promote the rights and welfare of children in the Gambia. Among the aims of this exchange meeting is bringing together stakeholders for further comprehension of the process involved in budgeting and how they can be involved in the effective supervision and monitoring of budgets and budgetary allocation.
For us at CPA, this is a very important meeting of local governments, but also how communities can influence to a greater extent those budgets in the best interest of their children. This is important because it promotes transparency. So everybody got to know what's happening, what's in the kitty, and how what is in the kitty is divided.
As continued by the Executive Director of Child Protection Alliance, the challenges that councils and local government face is good for accountability and transparency, as well as democracy, given its linkage with participatory budgeting and democracy inclusion. Njundu Drame further mentioned that the rights and welfare of children should be protected.
We are here mainly because all of us, I know, are also concerned about our children, about the welfare of our children, about how we go to protect, promote, and fulfill the rights of our children. In our local saying, we always hear this cliche, children are the future. We say this all the time. For me, I think it emphasizes the premium that we place on our children, but also on the future that they would live in. So the investment that we do for our children, on behalf of our children, in the lives of our children, are absolutely very important, because that would determine the future that they would live in.
The Deputy Mayor of Kanifing Municipality, Momodu Jaite, applauded CPA, arguing that they have been instrumental in the advocacy and guidance for the upkeep of Gambian children.
Children of this municipality, we know, we have a responsibility as a council. And we have been doing, at least looking at, areas that we can intervene in terms of the protection and development of our own children. We have certain intervention areas, like we have what is called the scholarship, sponsorship fund at the council that has been there for a long time, and it's meant for the children.
Program Officer, Gambia Association of Local Government Authorities, Adama Jeng, emphasized the importance of children, arguing that they have needs that require keen attention.
You know what we are talking about? We are not just talking about budgets. We are talking about democracy and good governance. One of the elements, the indicators of good governance, is participation at decision making. Allocating budgets are taking decisions, and they are very key.
The protection of children's rights is one sure way of ensuring their considerate inculcation in the build-up of any society, and this engagement by CPA, local communities and administrators may be very pivotal in doing just that. ISATOU, GRTS.
We will be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break. Welcome back. Police in Pakistan have arrested more than a dozen people accused of sexually abusing children on camera and then blackmailing the children by threatening to sell the recordings. More than 270 minors were involved. CNN's Anna Curran reports.
Beneath the beauty and serenity of the lush fields of this farming community in Pakistan's Punjab province lies a horrific secret of abuse on an unfathomable scale. It allegedly involves hundreds of children in the town of Hussein Khanwala who were sexually abused by a gang from an influential family. They would film the heinous act and blackmail the children, threatening to release the videos online or sell them at the local markets if they told anyone. One victim describes how it began 6 years ago while he was in a field collecting water. Aged just 9 at the time, a man with a gun told him to come back to his home to fill his water bottle. As soon as I went inside, he locked the door. He called out and 5 more men came in. I started screaming and they covered my mouth. Each of them had a weapon. One had an axe. They said they would cut me into tiny pieces if I made a single sound. Then they raped me. The sexual abuse continued for years, often in this house. He claims they would sometimes drug him before raping him. I stole jewelry and money for them, otherwise they said they would kill me and feed my body to the dogs. I stole from home, hoping they would stop hurting me. Despite the scale of abuse, many parents were not aware. Those who knew were too afraid to speak out until a few months ago, when one of the victim's mothers was shown a video of her child being raped. My heart sank when I saw my son in the video. Everyone in the village knew what was happening, but was too scared to say anything. They raped my son for 5 years, and now it's finally coming out into the open. They're savages. This time the village is united against them. We will face them. The parents claim they reported the abuse to police, but were turned away. It wasn't until local media got wind of the story late last week that it exploded onto the front pages, horrifying the nation. Daily protests have since broken out, forcing the Chief of Police of Punjab province to address the hostile crowd and apologise for the abuse, vowing to try the suspects in a terrorism court that would expedite the process, while suspending 3 police officials now under investigation. Police say it's too early to confirm the number of victims, but the lawyer representing says more than 270 children were abused. More than a dozen people have so far been arrested, and the mother of one of the accused spoke to CNN about her son, who's facing years behind bars. I'm not scared. One of my children made a mistake many years ago. This entire village has turned against me. A village deeply angry and traumatized by the suffering endured by their innocent children. Anna Corrin, CNN, Hong Kong.
Over now to the migration crisis in Europe. The spotlight is currently on Greek islands such as Kos. Normally it is a heaven for tourists, but at the moment it is turning into a refugee camp. Thousands of migrants are living there in the open after arriving by boat from Turkey. Greece, which is already suffering from a crippling financial crisis, says it is unable to cope with the sheer number of people landing on its shores. We have more in this DABO report.
Refugees have every reason to celebrate as they arrive on the island of Kos safe and sound after an adventurous journey. It was a hard trip, but now I'm happy. I forgot the hard time I had. I'm married without children and I came from Aleppo. I hope I'll have a good time here and a good future. But soon they realize their struggle isn't over. Finding accommodation on the island is difficult. Many have been forced to camp outside or find shelter wherever they can. Timur is a migrant from Syria who helps register new arrivals as a volunteer. He says accommodation is impossible to come by, and money doesn't help.
I was ready to give even 200 euro for one night. I couldn't find not even one hotel.
Hopes for a better future are fading all too quickly for many people here. Their first impressions of Europe are not what they expected. I escaped from ISIS in Aleppo and Kobani. I came here thinking I would have a better life and human rights, but I haven't seen what I was dreaming of. More than 120,000 people have arrived on Greek islands this year, 8 times as many as in the whole of 2014.
Time Time for a look at news on sports. The annual Youth Summer Camp organized by the Ministry of Youth and Sports came to a close last week. The Farafeni edition, as Babakar Senghor tells us, saw campus engage in lively activities.
When the Youth and Sports Ministry forced to roll out a youth summer camp for schoolgoers drawn from across the country, the idea was to provide them the ideal learning environment where they can interact, share valuable life-changing experiences, and also learn from those Gambians making waves in different career paths. And some of those elements were on display here when the children converged on Farafenni for the 2015 edition of the Youth Summer Camp. They enthusiastically took part in the various sporting activities, including wrestling and some very exciting indoor games. When these kids were not out in the field, they spent time in the classroom to engage in academic lessons meant to build their capacities as they journey through their careers. For some of the younger participants from mainly urban settings, it was a rare opportunity to experience and feel life in a rural setting. Overall, there are many positives to draw from this yearly convergence of young people, and now permanent feature of the Youth and Sports calendar, and one which is providing the country's young people an ideal platform to build their lives. For GRTS Sport, this is Babakar Senghor.
And before we take leave of you, a recap of headlines making news. Members of Guinea-Bissau's National Farmer Association are seeking to establish a close partnership with the Gambia. Child Protection Alliance has embarked on an ambitious drive to build a critical mass of community representatives and ward councillors armed with skills to track budgets. Police in Pakistan have broken up what they are calling a child sexual abuse ring involving a staggering 270 minors, and death-saddled Greece has said that it has been overwhelmed by the thousands of migrants landing on its shores. That was all in this edition of the news. Stay tuned for GRTS News Hour. We'll be on at 2200 hours. Enjoy our programs.